Ideal vehicle for presenting an accurate view on his martial arts philosophy.
Bruce Lee was actually responding to a frustration that he felt and had shared with us, that writers in Hollywood were writing a lot of, if you will, techno-babble about the martial arts that had very little to do with the real world of martial arts or the spirituality of martial arts or what the philosophy that goes hand in hand with learning martial arts. I mean, if you spend time with any serious martial artist, you begin to realize that as much time is spent on meditation and concentration and thinking about your body and your place in the universe as is spent on punching bags or breaking bricks. And Bruce felt that as part of what we could accomplish with Enter the Dragon, part of it was to showcase his martial arts skills, but part of it was also to try and educate the public as to what martial arts was really all about. And so he asked that in those scenes where martial arts was being discussed, that we at least try and put it in a proper context.
So when he did Enter the Dragon, he has many a time called in for the discussion of the script. So in a certain way, he contributed as much as anybody that was supposed to be involved, because he wants I think it's the first time he showed the equality of East and West, that you can work together as one team, regardless of color of skin.
On the 10th of May, 1973, while working in post-production on Enter the Dragon, the first signs appeared of the problems to come for Bruce Lee.
He passed out. He passed out for a half hour, and it scared him to death. Didn't know what the hell it was. And so he came over and had a full examination, and, like the doctors gave him a clean bill of health. And so he was happy. They said it was just fatigue. I guess the doctors couldn't see what was happening.
Rumors and speculation about his death were driven by a ruthless print media, which was happy to feed off the public ignorance of what the official autopsy revealed. In fact, Bruce Lee's death was simply caused by an abnormal hypersensitivity to a prescription painkiller.
God, it stunned me. I had no idea. Sterling called me up and, he said, Bruce is dead. And I thought, you're kidding. You're kidding. No, he died. There's something on top of that. And then I thought back that he had this thing that he'd passed out before.
When Bruce died, it was like Hong Kong stopped. Everybody talked about it. Everybody. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without, if you mentioned his name, their head went down. And that was so sad that a lot of people, I think, I was only there a few days after he died. I went to his funeral service and left. And a lot of people didn't want to believe it. They thought it was some kind of publicity stunt, because how can a man of this physical stature just die? He was like 32 years old in his prime and one of the fittest human beings I'd ever come across. And it was almost disbelief, I would say, would be a good word to use for his death. People couldn't believe that he wasn't there anymore.
Enter the Dragon was released 1 month after Bruce Lee's death. It surpassed all box office expectations, grossing over $200 million. But there was still to be one last testament to Bruce Lee's martial arts genius, his unfinished work, The Game of Death.
All right, now listen to me. Listen to my movement, okay? Keep moving, quick, and go. Now, the two motions are both part of one motion. Now, you try. Faster. A little bit smoother. Well, your head and body are still not one.
Well, when will they get together?
Once more.
By 1972, the circumstances of Bruce Lee, the Los Angeles martial arts teacher, had changed dramatically. As Dan Inosanto found out when he traveled to Hong Kong to appear with Lee in The Game of Death.
When I came to visit him, this is for the filming of The Game of Death, he said that because of his status of being very famous, I mean, I've never been with him in a place where there was like 20 to 30, possibly 50 people just crowding around him. So he didn't have any privacy, and he didn't like that part. But he enjoyed having what I call fame. So I think with his newfound status as a movie star, he had definitely some dislikes about it because it invaded his privacy.
When Bruce achieved success in Hong Kong, very quickly they stopped making swordplay movies and started making nothing but martial arts movies. And the truth was, he had a lot of imitators. Everybody was trying to do the Bruce Lee style, which, if you get off into the esoteric side of Jeet Kune Do, Wu Wei Yo Wei, the style that has no style, was Bruce's philosophy, which was to take a little bit from every style of martial arts and every style of fighting. And so he tried to employ that and apply that in each film to make each fight unique and different.
He did write quite a bit of stuff on martial arts, and he developed his own style, and which was very minimalist. It really was. It was a most undemonstrative style of martial arts. And then when you read all this, and then you see Bruce on the screen, and then instead of this very sort of soft, introspective personality, it goes whack. I mean, what he did on the screen was absolutely no relation whatsoever to what he was teaching or studying. But Bruce understood cinema, and he made it look terrific.
When we were preparing The Game of Death, we started, this was a Hong Kong film, so we didn't have the entire script. We had a concept, and we were going to shoot a series of fight sequences that would bring together some of the greatest martial artists of the world, and Bruce would fight them one by one by one. The essence being that by the time he got to the top of this mythical tower, he would have shown that the best style was to have a style that was flexible, and that he would defeat each of these martial artists by understanding and using their inflexibility to defeat them. And it sounded great, except that when you get past the point of, okay, level 1, level 2, level 3, and he's now trouncing each martial artist, there still had to be something that was going to be at the top of the tower. We never came up with what it was that was going to be at the top of the tower. So when we went off to shoot Enter the Dragon, we stopped shooting Game of Death. Bruce looked at me and he said, "Thank God we don't have to solve that problem for 6 months."
I was supposed to play a Filipino from the southern Philippines the way he wanted it. And that's what he portrayed me as. But I think what I did, Bruce Lee comes in later, but I fight this guy, the first guy, and he has this big log. And he fights me. It's like a log. It's more of a log than a pole, and I fight with him. Then the next one comes in, and I fight him. He has a little, it was a big stick, but then it got smaller. And I fight him with the stick, and I beat him. And then Bruce Lee comes in. He takes over, and then he beats him. I don't know if I was on the 4th floor or the 3rd floor, because he was constantly changing it. And then the last floor was the Style of the Unknown, which was played by Kareem.
While the ending of the film was not yet finalized, Bruce had decided that it would involve Australian actor George Lazenby.
The main thing was he wasn't going to kill me. He said, "I'm not going to kill you. You're going to be a good guy," because he killed practically everybody in these movies. They turned out to be bad. But he thought that I'd be a great communication rod to the people that he didn't get through to because of his Chineseness. And he said, some people don't see that we're all the same. He said, they don't see our souls. He said, our cultures are different. But Bruce was that kind of guy that wanted to go